I've actually been fortunate enough to have the freedom to think the way I want. So this product that we developed, Halo, like whether you can just one unit can change 1,000 lives. So what is bigger, to install 1,000 units for people who don't need it, or one for 1,000 people who need it?
Exactly.
So that's just a way of thinking.
For everybody who's like listening, and this is my good friend Sabin Choksi. We're friends from, I guess, middle school. That was some time ago, and
Yeah.
it's been some years in between since we last saw each other. I guess in high school, and now you're into all these cool things. So, yeah, go take it away and let us know what are all the things that you're working on.
Well, the family business has been diamonds, jewelry, real estate. We did something with like outpatient healthcare, cosmetic surgery, but we've always been, actually personally, I've been into innovation, and my brother too. So he's really excited by technology, better ways of doing things and solving everyday problems. It could be even in uh, a fintech or a business intelligence,
Mhm.
whatever it is. There's a better way of doing things. So it actually, the history on ThinkPhi, it was a simple design solution for a bus stop, how to make a bus stop interesting. And there's videos on that. Instead of having a flat roof, if you can just make it Y-shaped and collect water and make it functional, uh,
Mm.
that was like the simple pencil drawing, as you say. And when I saw that, then I thought that why not, introduce energy, like solar, so you could do lighting, which is the most basic, and that actually evolved into spaces and workspaces where you can do a lot more, like charging stations
Mm.
for your phones, your laptops, and even two-wheeler EV. So it came about from putting a structure in a space that was underutilized. So you have shading, you have a collection of rainwater
Mm.
and energy. And if you have a large enough array, that can actually go into a large enough battery that you can harness that energy for multiple uses.
I see.
Uh, yeah.
So,
I mean, the best solutions are the simplest ones.
yeah,
And
I see. So I just want to ask. So for this is just to describe what Sabine is talking about. This Y-shaped, initially this bus stop shading. I guess I want to call it a structure. And it's got a PVC, if you can imagine an upside down umbrella, really. And
exactly.
with, yeah, with a PVC material that captures rainwater, and then the stem of it funnels down the water into a reservoir underneath that's planted underneath, and it converts itself to energy. And what's brilliant about this device, it has also a battery pack, which a lot of, for example, solar panel doesn't really have battery packs, its own battery pack, but your particular design does, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
this is like already a superior design in that respect because it's all incorporated into one. And the reason why this is interesting for for me who live in Indonesia, cost of electricity is so enormous for Indonesians. It's so expensive. As a business owner, one of the biggest expenses that I have to worry about after payroll is actually electricity. Um,
Mm.
and that's because um, our electricity is still provided by the state, and it's not the most efficient. way of getting our source of energy. When in fact we live in a tropical, we're a tropical country, so there's so much sun, but there's no way for us to capture that and convert that to energy um, in an economically viable way, I suppose, or then to also store the energy in any way. So designs like yours or like your company is very, very interesting. And even the story is actually more interesting because it came out of a design challenge. And probably because at some point you were asking, hey, we got all this rain, we've got all this sun, why don't we do something about it? So I guess you've done something about it. Who designed it?
Yeah. So I actually have to give full credit to my sister-in-law, Priya, um, who was on the initial design phase. Then I would say my input was basically on the functionality side and trying to plan how to get it to market, like a wider market use based. But
Mm,
my brother, Samit, who you may have met in UWC,
okay.
he's pretty much he's on it. I mean, he lives it, about 110%. So at some point, you can speak to him also. Uh, so from the initial design perspective, then it came to uses, and like a smartphone, we didn't know that we would need a smartphone until it was there.
Okay.
So we had this simple idea that we pitched to people to make outdoor spaces functional. And like you can see on the website for a car park, uh, instead of it making it open air, why not use that space to harness energy, water, which offsets the cost. And different parts of the world, like you said, the electricity is really expensive out there. Some parts of the world, water is really expensive. But a bigger solution is for places where, like villages, where people, have to walk so many miles just to get clean water.
Right.
So given our UWC background, I sort of jumped onto it right away, thinking that this is a great solution and app.
And what Sabine is talking about again is that because it looks like an umbrella, basically it looks like an umbrella. So it can act as a canopy, so you can make it an open carport. This is basically what you're saying. Or the other design option is that if you have large grounds like in a school university campus, then you can have a set of these in a row, and then students can sit underneath and plug in their laptops, and it turns automatically into an outdoor workstation, so to speak. And I just love the idea of that. Not only is it creating energy, but it's also a good use of public design
Yeah,
space.
actually the nickname is Ulta Chhata, which is upside down umbrella in Hindi. So
Okay.
that's basically what it is, inverted umbrella. So
Mm,
that was the initial name for it, and then it graduated into the Halo because of the high level of functionality that it offers. So
okay.
on the educational side, I see a big application. Plus at IT parks where people can sit around it, and you can customize it based on the number of people.
It's yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. The design.
That's where
All you need is a vending machine with a soda pop next to it, and then you're kind of like self-sustainable for a long time there.
yeah. So we actually have one a module that's on it with a screen that can send you ads and promotions for things in a given area. I mean, out here in the US, you have ad tools where it's marketing. Let's say if you order from here, you'll get which shows up on the screen. So it's like an annuity model. So people are not thinking about it unless they look at their phone or their
Mm.
laptop. But if you then it's an impulse buy. or it could be informational about the weather and whatnot.
I see.
So we're customizing the functionality based on the use case. Like at a bus stop, it'll be like your bus times in real time,
Ah, okay, that's clever.
things like that.
That's excellent. So there's many
Yeah,
different ways that you haven't even begun to imagine on how to
yeah,
fully capture. So it captures rainwater and it also is a solar panel. Is that correct or?
yeah. There's a solar panel on top, and just a little bit of the technical side. Ideally, the surface area, it's like 16 by 16 feet, would have a flexible panel, but they are lower efficiency. So you have flat panels on top. So
Okay.
as the cost for flexible panels comes down and they're more efficient, then the entire would be a panel.
I see.
So that's once again, these are things that will come into being as the costs are more effective.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Let's just get to the heart of that. I mean, obviously, we need more of this, and we need this everywhere, really. Um, how much does it cost? Like, I mean, to have like install these kinds of units. I mean, just to is the cost getting cheaper, more affordable?
It's based on functionality. So you can, depending on where you are, taxes, shipping, this and that. I would say roughly speaking, you're anywhere between 5,000 US dollars up to say 12,000 based on the functionality that you need or that you want. And then, that's for a single unit. If you have volume, then the economics change.
Of course. And how much like does it power up? Like, can like one unit power up like a household like with like three bedrooms, a pool?
Once again, it varies based on the region, the
Okay.
amount of sunlight you have, the amount
Ah, okay.
that you're collecting. Like if it's a single unit, it could be it's very low. It'll power up lighting like LED bulbs. Like refrigeration is high power consumption, dishwashers, washing machines. That's really high
Right.
consumption. So in that case, you have to store the energy.
I see.
So it can be customized for that application. So out here, where I live, for example, if you put solar panels on your roof, the payoff is something like 8 years,
Okay.
and you almost zero over that time period. So in 10 years, you had zero energy cost.
Oh,
However, this is very different because you can't really power your house based on this kind of energy unless you have tons of these installed all over. But the idea is to have the power at that location in a remote area, but it can supplement the power that you use for low energy use.
that's something that's, of course, for me is of great interest. Obviously, living in Indonesia, I mean, why aren't we harnessing the sun and rain power? So,
Yeah,
and I'm very excited to hear. Maybe one day I'll interview your sister-in-law Priya about her designs and how she came about
yeah,
and bringing that all together. Sounds
yeah.
pretty amazing.
Since water is technically free, how can we create systems where these villagers just install these units that are
Mm,
given by grants or foundations, and they have water as much as they need
mm.
in low tech solutions.
The simpler the solution is, the better. Low tech
Yeah,
solutions. So I like these. I like these
yeah.
ideas.
And see, the fundamentals is that if you go to a place and they tell you, oh, we are sustainable, eco-friendly, and we have all these panels on our roof, but you can't see it.
Right.
So the design element is something that's striking, and it makes it sort of like cool sustainability, saying that that unit becomes iconic, where everyone recognizes it, saying that, okay, you're actually doing something, even if it's one unit versus 1,000 units. Otherwise, no one
Right.
sees rainwater collection systems. No one sees solar panels because they're hidden.
Right.
So that's one really positive element on this. And there
Mm.
is a TED talk that my brother did that's actually very cool. I'll send you the link.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome. So is this your family's legacy work then?
I would say on the humanitarian side, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and a quick note that I'll share with people, it's like the impact that we have on our planet is our daily choices. And being in water conservation, it led me to research our impact on water. And everyone must be aware and should do a quick study on the virtual water footprint.
mhm.
Because from what you eat to what you wear to what you do, I mean, everyone's talking about carbon emissions, but the water footprint is far greater than anything. Because and it changed my intake habits, namely food, where I practically became vegan from being a
Okay.
really big meat eater, because then I can reduce my water footprint.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So completely, you have just now gone so different from what the life that you used to know, and you've really embodied this very wholesome life now. And tell everybody again, we were just talking about you walking. How many miles was it again? 12 miles a day now, because in quarantine, that
Yeah.
as a result, you've walked 400 and what miles?
34.
434
So
miles, everyone.
on the low side, it was 12 miles. On the high side, it was 16 miles. So it's an average.
Right.
And the pedometer is not accurate because it'll give you an average mileage. And I just happened to do a study on the steps, which made it
Right.
much higher.
I see. All right. My podcast system for the listeners is big on personal development. So
Yeah.
anyone or any, like this is a very important part of why I interview different people, and the interesting stories like yours is because who influences you, what makes you think this way, that you were able to change your worldview from what you knew growing up and you thought to be normal for a long time, for many years, and you believed that that was normal for you, and then you happen to have a life-changing experience, and you're able to see things differently. And this is the way from the way you consume water, the way that you consume your food, the way that you think about energy, the way that you think about how to make money, the way how you live. And these kinds of small changes that eventually becomes a life transformation, really. And that's exactly why I wanted to have you on the show, is because to highlight not just the success of your company, but really more about as a way of encouragement for a lot of people who are listening, who are thinking maybe they're not feeling like they're at ease anymore with the things that they're doing with their routines. This is exactly how you can change. It's like you can listen to different sources, and you can adapt to the different things that make sense to you in your life.
Yeah. I've actually been fortunate enough to have the freedom to think the way I want. So if you're talking about your group dealing with various issues, whatever they may be, there's a lot out there. There's so much you can't imagine. You just have to spend time on your own. And in some ways, this has been easy for me because I love being alone because I can think. And the value is not in just talking to everyone and pushing your views. It's about channeling quality views. You can say two sentences to change someone's life,
Mm,
but you don't have to be present every day knowing that you're there.
right.
uh,
Mm,
and everyone has a support system going back ages. Like I spoke to, like I told you, I spoke to Kenny after 25 years,
that's
but
that's one of our friends. Kenny's one
that's
of
no
our
gap.
friends. Yeah.
And when I started there, I was in boarding. school. I mean, that I never thought that I would be in boarding school, living with 60 different nationalities. So out here, it's very easy for me to adapt and to see how people think. And these are the Eastern philosophies. Like I'll go to Bruce Lee, who said, be like water. So you take the shape of the container and or flow, and that's what we learned there.
Right.
So people who are dealing with issues are generally holding on to something. So if you let things be, and even going back to this product that we developed, Halo, like whether you can just one unit can change 1,000 lives. So what is bigger, to install 1,000 units for people who don't need it, or one for 1,000 people who need it?
Exactly.
So that's just a way of thinking.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sabine, it's been enlightening, and I'm so happy to have you on the show. And I know it's getting late. So Sabine's in Westchester, New York, and I'm in Jakarta. So we've got some time difference, and we're able to work out the schedule here.
Yeah,
But I'm
finally.
so happy that we were able to finally chat. And
Yeah,
much success to you and continued success. And yeah, this is really
you too.
powerful work that you're doing in your family. So bless you guys. And so I hope much success
Thanks.
again. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so the thing that we need to figure out is that whether I'm going to see you in our school reunion this year. If
That we don't know.
I
I don't know if it's
imagine
on.
it's probably canceled.
Yeah,
Singapore won't let us in anyhow.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't see it happening in August for sure.
Yeah,
It'll be
well,
delayed.
it will be delayed, but hopefully, my friend, we'll see each
Yeah,
other soon. All
yeah.
right.
That would be great. Yeah.
All right. Thank
Good
you so
talking
much
to
for
you.
having, being on the show again. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.